Well, former Advocate General of Maharashtra Ravi Kadam has said that archaic prohibition laws should be repealed immediately. This after the shocking arrest of a 55-year-old woman, a Worli resident who possessed alcohol bottles at home for making liquor chocolates. Now, excise officials raided her home, detained her and finally arrested her for not having liquor permits under archaic provisions under the Bombay Prohibition Act. Now, Priti was released on bail on Friday. She spoke to NDTV and narrated her horror.
It's really time to, repeal these kind of archaic provisions. Whether we should have a Prohibition Act itself or not is debatable. But even if one has a prohibition law, the fact that there are archaic provisions like this is apparent to one and all, both to government and to the public. And only this case highlights the fact that such provisions are there. It's time to repeal these kind of provisions.
Yours is a case that has managed to not just surprise but shock the city, including legal experts. Tell us what happened.
Well, I wasn't actually home and my parents were home. I was, by the time I came home, they were already searching my room. I think they searched all over the place, and my mother said, please, we are cooperating, you do what you have to, whatever you have to find, you find. They'd already, all the booze bottles were already out and they said, we'll be confiscating all this. They asked me if I had a permit. I said no. And I said I didn't know that I needed a permit to have stock in my house. I like liquor chocolates and I didn't know that I was, going against the law. And now that I know that I need a permit, and with a permit you're only allowed 2 bottles of alcohol. If you have an extra bottle, you could be in trouble. And if you buy, because if you go travel overseas, because we are all gifting each other on anniversaries, birthdays, a bottle of wine, champagne, depending on whatever the occasion is, and you collect bottles, and just because you have a bar doesn't mean you drink every day. Because with this drunken driving thing, a lot of people are drinking at home. They're entertaining at home now, because they don't want to go behind bars for drunken driving like me. I'm sure there'll be many people like me, and I think half of Mumbai, like you said, their bars will be stocked.
Tell me, apart from that, did they ask you any questions about were you running a business of chocolates or whatever, or was it just a hobby or something like that?
No, they said that because they also found some liquor chocolates, they said that is also illegal. That is not allowed. You need a permit to do that. And they said even if you go out, and if I go out to a store and if I want to buy liquor chocolates, I have to have a permit. That I learned from the newspaper today, that even if you want to buy liquor chocolate, you must have a permit. And I was actually terrified, and I really didn't know what to do. I was kind of really shocked. I was totally brain dead.
Tell me about the experience of going through something like this.
The experience was terrifying because, when you're going through all this for the first time, like you're fingerprinted, that means you're doomed, for life. And then, it was a non-bailable offense. Am I a criminal or what? I really don't know. So now at least I'm out on bail. So I'm still shell-shocked actually.
Well, moral of the story, know your law, I guess. Let's go across to Saurabh Gupta, who's tracking this story. Well, Saurabh, how does one really react to this story? It's amusing, it's unbelievable. But if you were Priti, you'd absolutely be outraged. So it's no longer about just drinking and driving, is it?
Well, Kulsum, this case is really, like Mr. Ravi Kadam pointed out, brought out how archaic really the provisions of the Bombay Prohibition Act are. You even need, for example, this lady was making liquor chocolates at home as a hobby, and she is almost facing prison for that. So so many of us, so many people in Mumbai and I'm sure across the country have bottles of wine at home to make preparations, many preparations that require alcohol. A dessert like flambe would mean that you would have alcohol in it. And like Priti pointed out that, people gift each other bottles of champagne or wine depending on what the occasion is. So really, this case has caused not just shock but outrage, and really the calls for repealing the Bombay Prohibition Act are really getting stronger by the day with cases like these. Joining me now are two young people from Mumbai. Tell me, what do you think, what do you feel when you see a case like this?
I think it's really shocking. In fact, even the woman who's arrested said that she thought it was a joke. So, like it's really funny that such things have come up all of a sudden. Like you said, there are many cuisines in which, alcohol is used. So are all the people, all those people faulty as well?
What about you? If you had liquor chocolates at home, and if you're making liquor chocolates at home and you have alcohol bottles stocked in your bar, you could be facing prison. Does that scare you?
Yeah, obviously. But when I heard this news about all this happening, I was really shocked. I mean, everyone have this chocolates, this stuff, and when you have liquor in this, it's very bad. People doesn't know it has liquor, and means how can you do such things? This is very bad. It would be bad for people itself also.
Okay, so there you have it. Really, people are outraged here in Mumbai and saying that it's scary actually when a case like this is reported and comes into the public domain.
Do you have the NDTV Profit app? All the markets, all the news and your own homemade, ready-made portfolio available there for you.
We will right now answer what you should sell, what you should buy when markets are down.
Download at ndtvprofit.com/apps. Get the best app from the channel you trust.